Okay.
It's loading.
Wow. There you go.
Animated screen.
Sweet.
Hey, yeah, I see it.
Perfect.
What's up, man?
What up?
What's up, Caesar?
Yeah, I'm Patrick, by the way.
Okay, Patrick.
Andrew.
Patrick and Angel.
Oh,
Andrew.
Andrew. I wish I was an angel, but Andrew.
He is an angel. He is an angel.
He is an angel.
Yeah.
And it's Caesar,
That's right.
aka Modive. Right. How did I think I asked you this already, man, but it's been years. I think it was the first time I got a tab from you. Where did Modive come from? Did it come from motivation?
Yeah.
Yes, I remember. Go explain it though.
Just like what drives everyone, you know? It's usually like what mode you're in and what motivates you. You know, you could be lazy and not go anywhere in life, but like whatever, you know, suits you, dude. And each their own, really. So it's mode. Yeah.
Times motivation, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's just a combination. It's been a fat minute since I had to answer that question.
It's your motivation.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
And then I see another screen here. Is it Joe Reezy?
That's me, bro.
I'm like, who we waiting for? Okay.
Yeah.
There should only be 4 screens. All right. Is everyone good? No lags? I think Caesar froze
Good.
right now.
Caesar,
Yeah,
Caesar looks
looks
frozen.
like Caesar's lagged up.
Unless he's really good at standing still like that.
Nah, he's good now.
Oh, it's
Oh man.
What's up, Caesar?
No, no, I don't. I was trying to figure out yesterday. I'm not home.
where you at?
I'm in San Diego right now.
Oh, all right.
Oh, beautiful.
It's one of my favorite cities.
Yeah, me too.
Is it hot right now? It's fucking. I think it's starting to cool up over here.
It's getting cool. Last week was end of times kind of temperatures, but now it's like, yeah, this is California.
Yeah, it was like
This is the California.
it was really hot. It was raining. I was getting like
Wanted a-
flash flood warnings.
Yeah. Some what's the one for missing children messages? The Amber Alerts.
Yeah.
it was wild.
I trip
Last
out,
week was wild.
I trip out every time I get those alerts. I try to turn them off, but jeez, like
That sound effect is just eerie.
they spike you in anxiety mode right away, dude.
Yeah. Is Caesar still frozen for you guys?
Yeah.
I think you can hear us though.
You hear us? Maybe he can chat with us.
As long as the audio works, I think we should be good.
Oh, his screen. Okay. Oh, he might be back.
Yeah, I'm back.
He might be
Alright,
back.
there he is. All right, Caesar. How long have you been tattooing, man?
I've been tattooing for 13 years now.
Wow.
Damn.
Oh, that's awesome.
Too long.
That's that's older than some children I know.
Well, do you remember what your first paid tattoo was?
No, I don't. I don't remember what I started getting paid for because at the beginning I wasn't taking payment. Like I was doing it because I liked tattooing.
Like an apprenticeship almost?
No, I didn't even start. I didn't start off with an apprenticeship. I'm considered a scratcher, so I did end up getting an apprenticeship. So I'll say that. But like,
Okay.
the first year was me scratching. So the whole process of tattooing back then wasn't like, hey, I'm gonna go buy a tattoo machine on Amazon. it wasn't
Yeah.
available. That option wasn't available.
Mm-hmm.
So now the point of entry to become a tattoo artist is how much money do you have and what equipment can you buy on Amazon online in
Yeah.
a sense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What is the term scratching? As-
It's making your own tattoo machines or buying um, like unlicensed machines and teaching yourself.
oh, dang.
Oh, wow.
Machines have to be licensed and whatnot.
Yeah, it's a whole process. It's really not that difficult in the sense of like how what that even that barrier is. You just take bloodborne pathogens, you register with the city. It's really not that difficult, but
Mm,
it's in the sense for more for other tattoo artists.
gotcha.
It's like, how did you start? I mean, if you say an apprenticeship, usually the old timers will give you respect. If you start scratching, the old timers will most likely look at your work and be like, okay, well, I guess he's done it enough to be considered an artist.
Right.
But at the same time, you know, an apprenticeship could help or not. Also depends on who's apprenticing you. Someone could just be taking advantage of you and just like, I need someone to clean the floors,
Right.
and then you don't get anything at the
Yeah.
end of it. It's like because the only way to gain knowledge back then was through an apprenticeship, through someone who learned the trade and would pass it on to you. There wasn't YouTube. There wasn't like, this is what you know. There's even tattoo artists on what is it, Snapchat? It's like a little channel for it.
Mm-hmm.
Super cool. It's just the knowledge wasn't there, so you had to get an apprenticeship to start tattooing back then, or just be a scratcher. And I started off by just being a scratcher for a
That's
year,
awesome.
for a year at least, and then I finally got an apprenticeship. But that whole scratching, like whole year of scratching, was friends
Mm-hmm.
donating, friends that believed in me. They were just like, you know, hey,
Right.
I have a piece of skin. Do you want to get down? Obviously,
Oh, shit. Yeah.
I would just more
That's
straight up
cool.
like, this is my third tattoo. This is my fourth tattoo. This is my fifth. Like I would literally break it down like, hey, like I've only been working for like a month. I've only been, doing it for this long. This is what the kind of work I have. Now, mind you, back then I used to draw everything by hand.
Mm-hmm.
So
Okay.
I didn't have a printer. I didn't have I didn't have a computer. I didn't have nothing. I literally started with nothing. Just dreams and hopes.
Yeah, that's amazing though, because like I feel like there's just so much as like an artist in any avenue. There's like so much like passion and devotion that goes into it once you decide that you want that to be your career. But do you recall like what it was that like signaled to you that you wanted to dive into it like that?
The first memory of tattoos and like even wanting them or wanting to be a tattoo artist. I used to draw in like third grade, fourth grade, fifth grade. I remember that's how far back it was. And this dude was walking by and he was fully covered. Like he had a hand tattoo and I was staring at him like it was traditional work, I still remember.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, one day I'm gonna have my body covered. Or one day I'm gonna tattoo. Just had
Right.
the feeling. It was the only thing. And being, from a Hispanic family, it was just like, no. Only animals and gangsters get tattooed. That's like a saying. Don't do it.
Yeah.
It's frowned upon.
Right.
So
Wow, that's cool though. Yeah, that's cool. That's a cool memory.
yeah, that's pretty much as far back as I can remember, like wanting tattoos or even wanting my body covered. I thought at this point I'd have my neck, my face, my head tattooed, but I've taken it really slow as far as letting who I let tattoo me. It's mostly friends. It's usually how I let people tattoo me. It's like a friend, someone I admire, or like you know, maybe on a whim just to build a good memory. But
Yeah. That's
but
crazy. Yeah.
that's about.
Would you ever, or have you ever tattooed yourself?
Yeah. Again, that's also frowned upon by the old school guys.
Hmm.
I'll say that it's frowned upon by the old school guys. The newer guys, they tattoo themselves and they post it online. It's not a big deal. But the old school guys, that's when you're like, you're a scratcher, bro. You're not supposed to work on yourself. Those are old time rules. Old time, like I don't know any artist that really knows these things.
Mm-hmm.
Which I had a conversation once with an old timer. We're just chilling, and man, he looked at me sideways. He's like, "Oh, and he felt a certain type of way. All the quality of my work, and he just did not expect me to say that I started scratching, one, and two, I had already started my apprenticeship at this point when I had this conversation with him, but he didn't know that. And then two, I was just like, and I tattooed myself. So it was just like, whoa. Did not expect the quality of work to be there, being a scratcher or starting off as that, because again, the old timers have a stigma to it, and you don't really learn that way back then. But I just had so much determination. I was going to learn regardless.
It's so much easier now with Amazon and YouTube. Like with anything.
Thanks, internet.
Oh no, yeah, I'm not even mad at it. Like I'm upset that So it took me about 6 months to a year to even like find a place that would sell me equipment. So I was like, okay, I'm gonna buy tattoo machines. I'm gonna get this stuff. I gotta learn how to like keep things sterile, which was like a big thing because I didn't like touching blood. So it was like, how do I? So I even learned the whole clean hand, dirty hand before I started tattooing, because I was like, okay, well, in the meanwhile, while I search for supplies, I gotta learn what I can,
Right.
On my own. So I was digging, asking everybody. Sometimes I'd meet a cool person that'd be like, yeah, don't do that, don't do this, X, Y, Z, or whatever. And then I found a supplier that wasn't asking for a license. So you need a license to get a professional tattoo machine. And they would ship it to the tattoo shop. They wouldn't ship it to your address. So this is why it's very difficult to get equipment back then. And you really had to dig. This information wasn't open. You couldn't just Google who sells tattoo machines and send them my way. And I'd call and be like, "Can I buy it?" And they'd be like, "No." And I'd just try again. "Can I buy it?" And they'd be like, "No." And eventually, I found a place that didn't require it. And the reason why I'm guessing they didn't require it was because it was like they also understood that it was like an elite club. They wanted to control it. Which is not a bad thing. I don't know if they wanted no competition or if they didn't want, which is also like, I see the side of like not just handing it to everybody, is because cross-contamination. You could really hurt somebody if you don't know how to prevent your equipment from getting contaminated. And if it does, what do you do? So that's also understandable why like you wouldn't just want anyone to get their hands on a tattoo machine.
Right.
You
saying that, it kind of reminds me of like it just came to mind in like those movie Kill Bill, where there was a sword maker, Hattori Hanzo, and he would only sell his blades or make blades for certain individuals, and that kind of reminds me of that same principle.
Yeah.
It just came into mind.
in any field you get into, there's always like the entry point, and then there's the point of like, once you're in the club, who's who, and then elitist to the point where it's you get one just in honor of who you are, kind of thing. Yeah, that's in any field. That's in any field. So there's some machines out there that are pretty rare. One of ones for sure. But you could now message a tattoo builder in that just on his own. He doesn't really need these stores, these tattoo supply stores, to carry the machines, to give him the notoriety that his machines are good. It's like he has an Instagram. You see him build his machines. You like them, DM him. He has them. He can make one for you. It's that easy now.
Yeah, that's a huge difference from like what you described, like how it was when you started compared to now. That's a real game changer. And I know that we were like talking about how there's so much availability of like knowledge and product now because of the internet, but even with those things available, something that can't be like bought or sold is like the creativity. and the mind to develop, or the creativity to to bring something to life that someone has an idea for and has chosen you as the artist.
Yeah, you could have all the connections and get the machines and bang out some whack shit. It's like, how'd you get that shit?
You'd be surprised. I'm not mentioning it. You'd be surprised, bro. There's some, and you know what? They're legends.
Mm-hmm.
And mind you, it also was in time. They were working with different stuff. So, so some people are like, oh, they're not a good tattoo artist. It's like, it doesn't matter, bro. They were there making needles, bro. They weren't buying them a box, a dozen. You can buy 50 needles for like $25 when they were like literally building every single needle. They were putting every needle
Wow.
through an eye loop, getting the jigs, soldering them. I asked one of my my mentors, hey, can you teach me how to make the needles? And everyone was like, huh? At this point, mass production of needles was like coming in, And they were like, no, why would I need to teach you how to build needles when you can literally buy a box, then just look through them through the eye loop, and I can just teach you how to pick the right needle. What we used to do to get the right needles, obviously, now come in a box, and you can discard the ones you don't like, which would be 5 out of 50, and then pick the best ones, and so on and so forth, instead of wasting your time building these needles, which is a lost trade. So if you talk to the old timers and talk about needles and stuff, they'll get down. But I only had one guy that was like, if you buy the jig, you buy the needles, and I will teach you. And I was like, whoa, that's some cool stuff, man. Like some of these, these are lost traditions. And again, you don't have to learn them, but it'd be nice to at least try it a couple times, just to reminisce, I guess.
It's like delving into the art culture of tattooing instead of just, kind of in the surface level of it, just like cool tattoos and stuff, It's like you appreciate the history and the culture of it.
Yeah. Just try it once or twice, make a needle here and there. I've heard some horror stories of like, my apprenticeship made me make 1,000 needles, and they threw them. My master didn't even look at them. He threw them in the trash and said,
"Oh shit!"
Cool. So
wax on, wax off.
Exactly. And then like bittersweet because I got in when there were boxes were coming in, and I didn't have to make them, right? So like, hey, I enjoyed that. So like these new tattoo artists coming in, hey, I don't have to search for places to get tattoo machines for 6 months to a year, learning how to scratch. They just go online and get it. And
Right.
I ain't mad.
So if an average Joe wanted to start getting tattooed, like become a tattoo artist, could he just buy a tattoo machine, or would he need to get licensed first in order to buy one? How does that work?
If you wanted to just practice on yourself or whatever, you could go as far as stick and poke. You could just buy the needles online. Look up a YouTube video. You have this kid teaching you how to do it, and I've seen some of these videos just for fun, and I'm just like, oh, please don't do that. Please don't do that. But hey, you live, you learn. That's pretty much taking the warning labels off of things and just, hey, go for it. I'm all for it. I have friends that have like stick and poke tattoos that they were like bored guitar strings, and I'm like, dude, it's not like you were locked up. Why'd you get a guitar string? Why didn't you just buy a sewing kit and get a real needle? Like, hello. But it's what they heard, like, oh yeah, my friend in prison did it this way, and I'm like, but you're not locked up, so like, you can go back.
Right.
for the culture though.
As far as like creativity in the field, how you were saying, like, there's an AI creating art.
Yeah.
It's just a matter of time before.
Cool.
You go in there and you type in your what you're looking for, a tattoo. You like the image, and you hit enter. Put your arm in a machine, and you got a tattoo, maybe 30 minutes, you know, depending on how
Yeah.
many needles that robot has. It'll take us out, man. But am I mad at that? Like, no. You know, hey, I'm here. Robots haven't taken over, so why not? You know.
I feel like even if that happens, there'll still be a lot of people who'd rather have a real, a actual person tattoo them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know for me, I don't have tattoos currently, but I would never want a robot to tattoo me.
Hey, you know, as a tattoo artist, I'm curious, man. I saw some dude put his hand in a laser machine, and it etched. It etched something. I don't know how it healed. I can't say if it's good or not, or if it's a good idea. But some dude did it, and I'm curious.
Wow.
I really want to try it.
Yeah.
Have you?
Have there been many occasions where, like, I've just like online and stuff or like shows seen where a tattoo artist will say like, oh, I can't do this like tattoo for you. Have you ever had occasions like that, or and if you did, like, what was like a tattoo that you had to deny?
Oh, so I had that conversation very early on. So I've had to deny, um, someone coming in getting um, like gang related tattoos.
Okay.
Reason for that is there's a lot of politics involved, and like I don't want to get into it. If someone comes in and I do that for them, I can get them literally killed.
Yeah.
So now it's on me to, you know, take my best judgment and be like, I'm gonna do it, and then I just want to get paid, whatever. But it's like, no, dude, you're putting something on somebody that can get them killed. It's not funny.
Yeah.
Just hey,
Yeah.
that's I'm not the guy for that. Please, there's plenty of guys that are in their area that aren't in shops that are willing to do it. I've had underage people, and I'm just like, can't, man.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah. Damn, that's
And mind
crazy.
you, also underage gang related tattoos.
Jeez.
Wow.
You know,
Yeah.
the first year of my scratching was not a good area. It was not. I would not recommend people walk through there. But I did what I had to do, just to even get my foot in the door. And the first opportunity I took to get into a shop, I took it, man. I ended up getting under someone really well known, Jose Lopez. He's an amazing artist. He owns Lowrider Tattoo. Super cool guy, very talented, and old school, man. And he took fine line black and gray and made it what it is today, refined to the point where it's no longer seen as prison work. And funny thing, rotaries are new in the industry versus coils. Coils are very what you would consider traditional tattoo machines. But in the Chicano black and gray world, as in I was helping some of my friends build some of these as a kid, 10 years old to 15 years old. We didn't know at the time that tattoo machines were not built with mortars, Walkmans, anything that had a mortar in it from like a. I'm gonna go way back and say you remember the Walkmans that used to have CD players or like the portable little cassettes.
Yeah.
Those in order to spin, they need mortars. Those mortars, you can pull them out, you know, mess with them a little bit, and hey, you can
Really?
tattoo with them.
No way. That's
Put a
crazy.
needle.
Oh shit.
That's cool.
Yeah, so that's
MacGyver.
actually pretty much. Those are some traditional like Chicano black and gray tattoo machines. So if you look at like prison machines, you type it in prison machine, like legit, they're probably made from Walkman, like mortars, like regular, just I don't know what like that small.
Yeah.
And then Jimmy bring it, get a pen, put a needle at the end of it, tie it, solder it, however you want, and you can tattoo. You can get down with that.
Wow.
And you'd be surprised the quality. I've seen some dude randomly. I love all kinds of work. Good work is good work. Period. I saw some dude with a head tattoo, And I was like, damn. I stopped him. I was like, dude. I was like, can I see your head? Can I see your headpiece? He was all bald, receding, super. So you could see all the dots. And I was like, so who did it? What kind of machine did he use? I'm curious, because it wasn't like you can tell it was an old school tattoo, um, and it was done from from a rotary, like a prison style machine. But what I didn't know is it was done in prison, and it was done with a legit prison machine, not even like rotary, like nothing new. It was like he's like, I saw the man build the machine, and he tattooed me with it, and it
Damn.
was one of the best headpieces as far as prison work goes. Blew
Yeah.
me out of it. I was just like, whoa, like I did not believe him once he said that. I was like, nah, bro, you're pulling my leg. He's like, I got it in prison with a prison machine. Dude's
Wow.
doing life. He's never getting out. And I was just like, fuck, this is good work, bro. This is super sick.
That's
You'd be
crazy, man.
surprised. Give the right tool to the right person, or even just a mediocre tool to the right person. Man, you can get some crazy stuff.
Is there
Right.
like when you look at art, when you look at someone's piece, could you tell by the quality of the ink or the quality of the work that it was done by a certain machine? You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yes, yes,
damn, for real.
yeah. And that was something that actually happened. That question you're asking that actually happened. I was in a shop, in my friend's shop, and I was tattooing one of the guys there. So I drop into shops here and there to tattoo their artists or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And so I dropped in working on my friend, who's a tattoo artist, and a new guy came in. I looked over and I was like, "Oh, you're new. Um, nice to meet you, X, Y, and Z." He's like, "Yeah." I was looking at his tattoos and I go, "Oh wow, who did that? Who did that? Who did that?" It's really nice work. He goes, "He did this, he did that, he did this," and I go, "Cool." I'm like, out of curiosity, he's a tattoo artist, so I knew to ask these questions.
Mm-hmm.
And I said, "Was that done with a coil?" And that's more of a traditional machine. And right away he goes, "Yeah." And then next piece I go, "That was done with the rotary." He's like, "Yes." And then I go back to another piece. I go, "Is that done with a coil?" He goes, "Yeah, coil and rotary for shading." I was like, "Done." Yeah, I knew it. My friend was like, "How did you know that?" Just by looking at it, you can tell. There's certain qualities of each machine that you can't get from other machines. Period.
Okay.
Hands down. Even in the rotary, like, or I should say, even in the coil world. So a coil machine has a spring to it, and that back spring gives it a flex. So the back spring holds an armature bar. The armature bar holds the needle. That spring in the back gives the gives the needle like a certain like poke to it, to the skin, that cannot be matched by rotaries. So you can,
Okay.
in my opinion, and I've actually asked one artist who's got more years than me. Out of curiosity, I just dropped it on him. I was like, "Yeah, I actually want to go back," and he's like, "I've been telling everybody." I'm like, "Yeah, dude, like coil machines, when it comes to line work, the quality of them is much better than the quality of rotaries." There's a couple of nuances to it.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not going to get into like the logistics of it, but it has to do with that back spring and the rubber band tension on the needle. Also, how you run it in your hand. So you can get a really fine line and a really nice entry point and exit point from a coil machine compared to a rotary, and that's visible. Like you can see that from a mile away. And
Okay.
if you have a trained eye for it, or if you use them, you'll know right away.
Wow, that's interesting to like. I mean, it's not something that I would have even like considered to think of. But yeah.
Yeah.
So what's the quality based on? Is it the poking of the skin or and the distribution of the ink?
Yeah. It comes down to a feel. So
Mm-hmm.
I use coils for about 6-7 years straight, just all coils. Even though I did build some rotaries, some prison style rotaries when I was younger, I never used those to tattoo. That was just to learn to build them. I tinker with things. I was building those for friends and um, family. They could tattoo.
Mm-hmm.
And then when I started tattooing with coils. So from the beginning to about halfway through, I'm gonna say I was using coil machines, and I was given the opportunity to work on with a rotary. At the time, they were new. Rotaries were new. The cartridge system wasn't even really a thing. It was still a needle bar system. Again, I'm not going to get into it, but
Mm-hmm.
once I switched over, I saw some benefits of a rotary compared to a coil. But at the same time, I was actually using both. Once I switched over to getting a rotary, I was using my coil to line and then my rotary to shade. Pack's really nice. But it's a feel more than anything. It's a feel, and it's look at this. It really mimics your stroke as an artist and captures like motion really nice. So when you do a line, it mimics every bump, divot, swirl, swoosh, swoop, you name it, with a coil. And if you have a really nice hand, it also reflects. So people back then, you could be like, oh, he has a heavy hand, he has a light hand, and it reflects off that. Which is why coil guys or old school traditional guys would be like, dude, learn how to pinstripe. That was a big thing. Learn how to airbrush, learn how to pinstripe. You always heard that. Because back then, you need a specific hand style and hand motion to use those machines that correlated with that.
Mm-hmm.
Now, if you use rotaries, that doesn't matter. You can have a light hand, but your machine's going to hit hard. And those lines they're going to reflect it. You can just tell visually as an artist. Again, I can tell. I can't speak for anybody else, whether they use coil or a rotary. And quality in the strokes, especially if it's a very delicate loop, swirl, swoosh, swoop, if it was done with a coil or rotary. Because you can't line like that. And I can't. I haven't really met anyone that can, or that has those very fine finesse lines on a rotary. I can only speak for that quality of a line with a coil.
So would you say between a doodler, a graffiti artist, a painter, and an airbrush artist, the airbrush artist would probably have the better transition into tattooing because of the hand style? Or
yeah, I would say so. As far as for a coil, someone who pinstripes or airbrushes might have a really nice hand to it. It's not guaranteed. I would say pinstriping for sure. You meet a pinstriper, man, his lines are going to be crispy. They're going to be clean. They're going to be consistent, and they're going to have a really nice entry point and exit point. And that's what I look for as far as quality of lines on a work. Like, oh, that was done with the coil. That was done with the rotary. Entry points, exit points, consistency, and then how much needle is inside the skin. But then again, you could have someone that has a heavy hand, someone that and their lines can look like rotary lines on a coil. Again, so
as an artist, as a tattoo artist, do you still do you dabble in other arts still, just drawing or any other?
He's got some crazy
painting?
drawings.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so I'm an artist first. That's first and foremost. The thing is, when I tattoo, I don't consider myself an artist per se, in the sense of I have to remind myself that it's a service, and I'm here to provide the image that's in your head, with my abilities. And there's a little it's commission work. Even in the straight just art world, once you become unless you're, for example, if you're drawing something that then you're putting onto somebody, that's your art.
Mm-hmm.
If you're with somebody creating something, you're a tattoo artist.
Okay.
And then there's straight tattooing, where it's pick and stick, that's what you're getting done. You're just tattooing. Um,
Mhm.
but in the art world, like what you do for yourself, um, what you want as a tattoo artist is to create that artwork, and then people want it on them. So
Okay.
that's the best way to transition into tattooing, in my opinion, is put a lot of artwork out there, and then just hopefully have a following, or even just one or two, and gear it towards that, because then you'll be happy and you just won't be a tattooer. You'll be a tattoo artist. Um,
Yeah.
as far as what I do on my own, I usually do um, all kinds of mediums. So I do graphite, I do pen, um, just clay. I was dabbling with clay, pottery,
Damn.
sculpting, and then
Okay. Sick. Pretty
recently,
much all the above, right?
yeah, and then
Yeah.
recently I got a little tablet, like with a touchscreen computer, to like um, do painting, digital painting, um, just
Nice.
to kind of like, because I was painting, right, so then was doing watercolor and acrylic, and setting that up took 15 minutes, right? So now if you have a tablet, you just put it on there, the presettings that you're going to paint watercolor, you're going to paint acrylic, and the settings are there, and it's just a mouse click away. Granted,
Yeah.
it's not real acrylic, and it's not real watercolor. um, it affords it to you quick, because as you get older, time for personal stuff is very, very hard to find, few and far between, where it's like, okay, I can paint right now. Let
Yeah.
me spend 15 minutes setting it all up. No, it's like, just pull out your tablet and draw. Um, but I always revert back to traditional. I told myself, once I got the tablet, I was like, I'm gonna paint more. I'm gonna do more things on the tablet that are, get the sketch pencil and make it look like a sketch on digital. But I can't help but to appreciate still the love of like traditional, having the pen to paper.
Mhm.
As
Right.
far as drawing, I like doodling. Doodling is probably my favorite. I really love graffiti. Um, I try to incorporate that into a lot of my drawings now. So there'll be some stuff coming out, some stickers, some prints, slowly but surely. Some weird, odd things, trinkets. Being
Right.
creative, period. Yeah, it's coming. But it's also been out there. I'm just I don't post as much as a lot of people would like, because I'm not really a social media kind of person. Um, so when you see me post, I'm literally forcing myself to pull out my phone and capture the moment, because I'm competing with all these kids who grew up with phones in their hands. Hey, we didn't have phones in our hands. We were living. Um,
Right.
it's normal for them, versus for me, it's learned. I have to remind myself, like, hey, this is Instagrammable. This is TikTokable. This is I don't know if that's a word.
It
This
is
is for
now.
social media.
It is.
This is for social media, and you need a presence, because you're competing with kids that are like, they're not tattooing, they're making TikToks, man. But they got
Yeah.
like 100,000 followers.
These
Hey,
kids got me
Right.
beat, man.
There's an art
it's
to
the
that
view.
too. Yeah.
It doesn't matter how good you are at this point. It matters how many followers you have.
Art of
You
social
know?
media.
It is the
Yeah.
art of
Yeah, and
social
like,
media.
I hear it from my friends all the time. They're like, dude, you got the talent. You just need the social media presence. I'm like, oh, hate it. But like, I
Right.
understand that it needs to be done, um, because it's not how it was back then. Back in the day, you'd be like, dude, that guy's good. Who does that? It was all like visual work. Your work did work.
Mhm.
So like, you paid attention to your tattoos, people would come back and be like, I saw that, I stopped them, I got your number, boom. Now it's like, social media. Do you know who this guy is? Do you know who that guy is? I'm like,
Yeah.
oh, man, like, they're showing you fresh work. They're not showing you healed work. It's not quality. It's edited. Not hating on them, but it's like,
Just
they're
filters and all that.
playing every trick in the book to get you to come in, and it's like,
Mhm.
Snapchat
consist-
filters on tattoos.
consistency, man. That was one thing that was told to me. You know, I mostly for myself, and recently I have been trying to refine it, where it's like, hey, if you're gonna put time into art, you have to have an objective where it's like, it's leading towards your end goal of what you want out of tattooing. or what you want out of an art career, you know, which is now I'm starting to create things that I can create into like that can be marketable, I should say.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so I'll take an idea that I like, and then how can I market that? So draw, starting off with something I like, and then think, how can I get this to be visually appealing for someone to want it as a logo, somebody to want this as a sticker, somebody to want this as a shirt. Granted, you should not draw for the public. You should draw for yourself.
Right.
And if you, again, you get a following from that, great. I just been starting to think, like, how do I get my stuff to be more appealing? Because what I've learned from tattooing is you're trying to convey a message with black and gray. That's the type of work I do.
Mm-hmm.
You're trying to convey a message with only like certain tones. How does it come across, and how does the person reading it determine what that is? You know, so you have to let the tattoo breathe in a sense where it's like it's not cluttered, it's not too much. The person isn't looking at everything going, what is that? What is that? What is that? When you have too many people going, what is that in your tattoo? It's cluttered. It doesn't breathe. So now I'm taking that same things I've learned from tattooing and applying them to my art, and like, hey, how do I convey this message? Now, at the same time, how do I sell that message? Because you don't want to be tattooing for the rest of your life. You know, as much as I love this, there's a point where my hand's gonna start getting shaky, my eyes are gonna start going bad, my back is gonna get even worse than it is.
I was about to say,
So there,
yeah.
and then I might love it. I won't be able to do it. What's that transition? And I'm starting to like feel that transition where it's like you need to start posting about your actual art, that your clientele starts to shift over into just connoisseurs that, hey, they might not be able to afford your tattoos, but they have $5, they have $10, 15, 20, 30 that they can spend on a piece to support you, you know.
Yeah.
Because tattooing eventually, the robots are gonna take over, you know.
I was gonna ask, man. Are there already AI tattoo robots out there that you guys are kind of looking behind your backs for?
There's some machines that they've been building. But this is not new. They've been building machines that like try to tattoo, mind you, 3D printing.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? So you put a needle on that 3D printer, you're good to go. The only difference is the concaves and convexes, like the shape of the human body, that it has to adapt to. You put in one of those laser scanners, scans your arm, it builds a 3D map. As long as you don't move it too much, I'm pretty sure that 3D printer can tattoo you. Someone's got to figure it out. No, I'm not worried. As a matter of fact, if that machine comes out and it's 50 cents, I'll stick my hand in there, bro. You know? I'd go online, get a meme, put my hand in there. Why not?
Get a QR code tatted on you.
I'm pretty sure. Scan here. Those are dope. I've seen a couple.
For real?
You seen some QR code tattoos?
They have QR code tattoos?
Yeah. There's.
And they actually scan too?
The most famous one. Yeah, they scan too. If you do it, dude, right, you can scan them. The only thing with that is the longevity of them. I don't think they're gonna last that long unless you do them big enough.
Yeah, I was thinking that.
When it starts to bleed out, or when the ink starts to run under the skin, you can still scan it regardless. If it's too small, no, that's not gonna work over time. Maybe it'll work right away, but 5-10 years, just make sure it's big enough so that it can scan it and you can get Rick rolled.
How big? You think
How
like
big of a
top of my
QR
head?
code do you think?
But,
Yeah. For longevity, like how big should a QR code tattoo be?
If you want it till you're 80, you know, I'm gonna say 7 by 7 inch, 7 inches by 7 inches.
Oh shit, that's pretty big.
Ink runs, man. That long, it runs. I've seen tattoos from veterans from like Vietnam, you know, and they got them when they were like, dude, I went to Vietnam and got this there, um,
Yeah.
and I was like, just old timer. I saw him and I was like, dude, what was that? And it was a blob. It was straight up a ink blob. You could not tell. He goes, it was a road runner. This was a road runner. I was like, no way, bro. He goes,
Like
yeah,
the Warner
it was a road runner.
That's how old you know these veterans are.
Yeah, it was a blob. I'm not gonna lie. I couldn't tell.
So they've got an expiration date, pretty much.
So that's why we always recommend, if you get words, if you get anything tattooed on you, get bigger. I've been seeing a lot of the new guys not really know this and just doing micro stuff, like micro portraits, micro butterflies, micro names, and it's like, please at least inform your clients that this is not going to last. I hope they know this, because then you'll get them in the future going, it doesn't look as good. It's like, if your artist didn't warn you, I'm sorry, man, you went to the wrong person. You know, you only have yourself to blame.
Yeah.
How long is the? I mean, would getting it touched up help out the tattoo a little bit, or no? Because it blobs, right? So there's not really a point of touching it up.
Yeah, at a certain point, if it's a blob, there's no point.
Mm-hmm.
I'm pretty sure at that point you also don't want to show it off. The joke's probably over.
The joke's over.
Yeah. Well, the reason why I say that is because the QR code one I saw was literally you scanned it and it went to that Rick Roll video.
Oh, for real?
Yeah. So.
Oh shit.
That's hilarious. Do you remember what your first tattoo was that you?
Hey guys, hate to be the bearer of bad news, but the podcast was cut short due to some technical difficulties. But you can follow Cesar on Instagram at Modive, Modive, and you can follow us at The Cave, that's THE K4V3 on all social media platforms. And I know everybody on the internet tells you this, but please like and subscribe. See you guys when we see you guys.